everyone, and welcome back to the Daily English Lab podcast. You know that feeling, don't you? The moment you have something to say, an idea to share, or a question to ask in English. The words are right there on the tip of your tongue. You've practiced them in your head 100 times. But then, when it's time to speak, everything freezes. Your heart starts pounding, your palms get sweaty, and your mouth feels dry. The English words you know so well, the ones you read and write perfectly, suddenly vanish, like they've just evaporated. You want to speak, you really do, but this wave of fear washes over you. The fear of being judged, the fear that someone might laugh at your pronunciation, the fear that they just won't understand you, leaving you feeling small and foolish. It's a frustrating, paralyzing feeling that can make you doubt all the progress you've made and tempt you to just stay silent. If any of that sounds familiar, I want you to take a deep breath. You are not alone. This experience is incredibly common. In fact, this fear, sometimes called xenoglossophobia, is one of the biggest hurdles language learners face worldwide. It isn't a sign of weakness, and it doesn't mean you're bad at English. It's a natural response to a challenging situation. But here's the most important thing. This fear does not have to control you. It's a wall, and like any wall, it can be broken down brick by brick. In this video, I'm not just going to tell you to be more confident. That's easy to say, but hard to do. Instead, I'm going to give you a practical, step-by-step guide with exercises you can start today, mindset shifts that will change how you see yourself, and strategies to build real, unshakable confidence. By the end, you'll have a toolbox full of techniques to crush that anxiety and finally speak English with the freedom you deserve. Before we can dismantle this fear, we need to understand it. Why does our body react this way? The racing heart, the blank mind, when all we want to do is communicate. Understanding the why is the first step, because it takes the power away from the fear. It stops being some big, mysterious monster and becomes something we can solve. For most English learners, the fear isn't about the language itself. It's about what speaking feels like, a performance. And with any performance comes the fear of judgment. The biggest reason is an intense fear of making mistakes. We've been trained by years of school that mistakes are bad, a red mark on a test, a corrected sentence. These experiences teach us to believe that errors equal failure. So when we speak English, we feel like we're putting our intelligence on display. We worry a grammar mistake will make us sound unintelligent, or a pronunciation error will make people think we haven't tried hard enough. This perfectionism is a huge source of anxiety. We set an impossibly high standard for ourselves that even native speakers don't meet. Think about it. Do native speakers use perfect grammar all the time? Absolutely not. They make slips, use slang, and start sentences they don't finish. But they do it with confidence because their goal is communication, not perfection. The second root cause is the fear of being judged negatively. As humans, we have a deep need to belong. When you speak a foreign language, you can feel like an outsider. You worry that native speakers will be impatient, that they might laugh, or that you'll create an awkward situation. It makes you feel vulnerable. I often hear from students that they feel like they lose their personality when they speak English. They can't be as funny, witty, or smart as they are in their own language. This gap between who you are and who you can be in English is a major source of anxiety. You're afraid people will judge this simplified version of you. A third cause can be negative past experiences. Maybe you tried to speak in class and a teacher corrected you harshly, or you spoke to a native speaker who was impatient. These memories can linger and create a trigger. The next time a similar situation comes up, your brain remembers that feeling of embarrassment and sends out a warning signal, danger, don't do that again. It's your brain's way of trying to protect you, but it ends up holding you back. I want to share a quick story. When I was first learning Spanish, I was in a small shop in Madrid and had practiced my order over and over. Quisiera un café con leche, por favor. Simple, right? But when I got to the counter, my mind went blank. The words came out jumbled, and the barista just stared at me. Someone behind me sighed impatiently. In that moment, I felt a hot wave of shame. I just pointed at what I wanted, paid, and left. For weeks after that, I was terrified to speak. I let that one small moment define my ability. I tell you this because we've all been there. That feeling is real. But recognizing where it came from, my fear of judgment, my perfectionism, was the first step to overcoming it. So, take a moment. Which of these reasons resonates with you? Is it the fear of mistakes, judgment, a past experience? Pinpointing the source is like turning on a light in a dark room. Suddenly, the monster in the corner is just a coat rack. It's not so scary anymore. Now that we've put a spotlight on the fear, it's time to build a new foundation. Confidence isn't something you just find. It's something you build with a solid base of new beliefs and attitudes. This is the most important part of the process. You can learn all the techniques in the world, but if your mindset is working against you, it'll always be an uphill battle. First, let's redefine what fluency means. So many learners think fluency means perfection, speaking with flawless grammar, a huge vocabulary, and a perfect accent. This isn't just unrealistic, it's also wrong. Fluency isn't about perfection, it's about communication. That's it. The goal is to get your message across. Can the other person understand you? Can you have a conversation? If the answer is yes, you are communicating successfully. Let go of the idea that you have to be perfect. Instead, adopt a new goal: clear communication. Your new mantra should be progress, not perfection. Celebrate having a 2-minute conversation, even if you made 5 grammar mistakes. That's a huge win. The second, and maybe the most powerful mindset shift, is to embrace your mistakes. In fact, I want you to start seeing mistakes not as failures, but as data. Every single mistake is a gift of information, telling you exactly what you need to work on. Think of it like a video game. If your character falls into a pit, you don't throw the controller away and quit. You think, okay, can't go that way. And you use that data to do better next time. Language learning is the same. When you use the wrong word and someone corrects you, your response shouldn't be, "Oh no, I'm so stupid." It should be, "Oh, interesting. So that's how you say it." You just got a valuable piece of data that will make your English better. I want you to try setting a mistake goal. It sounds crazy, but it works. For your next English conversation, aim to make 10 mistakes. I'm serious. This does 2 things. First, it removes the pressure to be perfect. If your goal is to make mistakes, you can't fail. Second, it encourages you to take risks. You'll try that new word you're unsure about or that complex sentence. Making mistakes isn't just part of the process, it is the process. The third shift is to practice positive self-talk. The voice in your head is your most influential teacher. If it's constantly saying, "You're going to mess up," or "Your accent is terrible," you're programming your brain for failure. You have to become the manager of your thoughts. Before you speak English, give yourself some positive affirmations. Say them out loud. My goal is communication, not perfection. Every mistake I make is a step forward. My accent is a sign of my bravery. This might feel silly at first, but your brain listens. If you consistently feed it messages of encouragement, it will start to believe them, rewiring your brain to associate speaking English with positivity instead of dread. Finally, set small, achievable goals. Often, fear comes from looking at the huge mountain of becoming fluent. Ignore the mountain and focus on the very next step.
Instead of a vague goal like, I want to be confident, set a specific goal like, today I will say good morning to the barista. Or, this week I'll have one 5-minute chat on a language app. These small goals are measurable and achievable. When you hit them, you build a chain of positive experiences, proving to yourself that you can do it. Confidence isn't something you wait for, it's something you build through action. We've worked on the mind, now let's work on the mechanics. A huge part of confidence comes from competence. The more comfortable you are with the physical act of speaking, the less anxiety you'll feel. This is where your private practice lab comes in. This means creating a low-stakes, zero-judgment space where you can practice speaking English alone. No one is listening. You can make 1,000 mistakes, and it doesn't matter. Let's start with one of the most powerful exercises, shadowing. It's simple. Listen to a native speaker and repeat what they say, just a split second behind them. Try to imitate everything, not just the words, but their rhythm, intonation, and pauses. You're creating a shadow of their speech. This trains your brain to process and produce English directly, bypassing translation. And it's an intense workout for your mouth. Find a short audio or video clip, a podcast, a TED Talk, a movie scene, and start with just 30 seconds. Listen once, then play it again and speak along. Do this with the same clip 5 or 6 times. Just 5 to 10 minutes a day is one of the fastest ways to improve your pronunciation and fluency. Our next exercise is reading aloud. This seems simple, but it's incredibly powerful. Grab anything with English text, a book, a news article, and read it out loud. Don't just mumble, read with expression. Pretend you're a news anchor or a character in a story. This connects the written word you know to the spoken word you're trying to improve, and it gets you comfortable with the sound of your voice speaking English.
To take this a step further, record yourself. I know, nobody likes listening to their own voice. It can feel awkward, but it's one of the most valuable tools you have. Use your phone's voice memo app and record yourself reading a passage aloud. Then, listen back. What do you notice? Are there specific sounds you struggle with? Are you speaking too quickly or too slowly? You become your own best teacher because you can spot your own areas for improvement. Now, for an exercise that builds spontaneous speech, self-talk. Become the narrator of your own life. As you go about your day, describe what you're doing out loud in English. For example, while making breakfast, okay, I'm opening the fridge, I'm taking out the eggs, I think I'll make some scrambled eggs today. This forces you to access everyday vocabulary in real time and trains you to think in English without translating. A variation of this is the voice memo diary. At the end of each day, talk for 2 to 3 minutes about your day. What did you do? Who did you see? Over weeks and months, you'll have an incredible audio log of your progress. These private exercises are your secret weapon. By dedicating just 15 to 20 minutes a day to your lab, you're proving to your brain that speaking English is a normal, non-threatening activity. You've strengthened your mind and trained your mouth. Now it's time to bridge the gap between practicing alone and speaking with others. We need an intermediate step. That step is low-stakes social practice, finding speaking opportunities that feel safe, supportive, and even fun. One of the best ways to do this is to find a language exchange partner. This is where 2 people learning each other's native languages help one another. You might speak English for 30 minutes, then switch to your native language for 30 minutes to help your partner. The power dynamic is equal. Both of you are learners. Both of you are vulnerable. Both of you will make mistakes. It builds empathy and removes the fear of judgment. There are great apps for this, like Tandem or HelloTalk. Be upfront about your goals. You can say, "Hi, I'm working on my speaking confidence and get a little nervous. I'm looking for a patient partner for relaxed conversations." Another low-stakes option is to join a conversation group for learners. Being in a group of fellow non-native speakers is incredibly reassuring. Everyone is in the same boat, and the teacher is trained to be supportive. It's a structured way to practice, often with a specific topic, which can be less intimidating than a completely open chat. Now, for a powerful strategy to prepare for these interactions: creating conversation scripts. This doesn't mean memorizing a whole conversation, but preparing key phrases for common situations. This reduces the mental effort needed during the chat. First, build a script for your personal introduction. Prepare and practice a 30 to 60-second intro about yourself. Include your name, where you're from, what you do, a hobby, and why you're learning English. Having this ready is a massive confidence booster. For example, well, my name is Victor. I'm originally from Brazil, but I'm currently living in Toronto. I work as a graphic designer. In my free time, I love hiking. I'm improving my English because I want to connect with more people from around the world. You can create similar mini-scripts for other situations: ordering coffee, asking for directions, or talking about your weekend. Having these phrases prepared is like having a safety net. It gives you the courage to handle common interactions, which builds a bridge of confidence to walk from your private lab into the real world. It's time to step into the arena. Real-time, spontaneous conversations. This is where the fear can feel most intense, but you're not going in empty-handed. First, master the art of the strategic pause. When you're anxious, your instinct is to rush. You feel like any silence is a failure, but it's not. A pause is a sign of thoughtfulness. When someone asks you a question, take a breath. It's perfectly okay to use a small phrase to signal your thinking, like, "That's a great question. Let me think for a moment." That's interesting. This buys you time and makes you sound more thoughtful, not less. You're taking control of the pace. Next, have a toolbox of filler phrases. What happens when you forget a word? Instead of panicking, try, "I can't remember the exact word, but it's a thing you use for," and then describe it. What's it called? It's similar to... And what if you don't understand? Don't just nod and smile. It's 100% okay to ask for clarification. It shows you're engaged. "Sorry, I didn't quite catch that. Could you say it again?" "I'm not sure I follow. Could you explain what you mean by the word?" So if I'm understanding correctly, you're saying that, and rephrase what you think they said. Here's a mental trick. Shift your focus from yourself to the other person. Much of our anxiety comes from being trapped in our own heads, constantly self-criticizing. Instead, shine the mental spotlight on the person you're talking to. Get curious. Ask them questions. Listen to their answers. When your goal is to learn about them, you have less mental energy to worry about yourself. The conversation becomes a connection, not a test. Finally, remember your body language. Your physical state affects your mental state. When we're nervous, we tend to slouch or cross our arms. This reinforces fear in our brain. You can hack this. Sit or stand up straight, pull your shoulders back, keep your arms uncrossed. Make gentle eye contact, and smile. Even a small smile signals your brain to relax. It's like fake it till you make it, but it's backed by science. Changing your posture can change your mindset. We've covered a lot today. We started by understanding that fear comes from a desire to be perfect and avoid judgment. Then, we started building our defense by changing our mindset. We decided our goal is communication, not perfection, and we learned to see mistakes as data. We began training the voice in our head to be our biggest supporter. We entered our private practice lab, using tools like shadowing and self-talk to make speaking English a daily habit. Then, we built a bridge to the real world with low-stakes practice and prepared mini-scripts to give ourselves a safety net. Finally, we equipped ourselves with in-the-moment strategies like the strategic pause, asking for clarification, and using confident body language. This is a process. There will still be nervous days and moments of doubt. That's okay. But now you are no longer powerless. You have a plan and a toolbox. The most important thing you can do now is start. Don't wait until you feel confident.
Choose one thing from this video, just one, and do it today. Record your voice for 1 minute. Write out your introduction. Find someone on a language app and say hello. Just do one small thing. Because the fear gets smaller when you take action. The fear gets smaller when you prove to yourself day after day that you are more capable than you think. The fear gets smaller, so speak today. Thank you for joining me. You are capable, you are brave, and you can do this. If you found this guide helpful, please give this video a like and subscribe for more lessons. And now, a question for you. Which one of these techniques will you try first? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next video.